Let's kick things off with Time Magazine. Every December, they reveal their Person of the Year so that people can remember that Time Magazine still exists. Print media is dying, you know? Not like cable. We're doing great. Thank you. So this morning, the editor of Time Magazine came on TV to reveal who this year's person was, even though the moment you see the editor's face, you know right away it's Donald Trump.
And here to make the announcement, Time's editor-in-chief, Sam Jacobs.
I'm super excited to be here. Please don't be mad when it's the person we had to pick.
Who is it going to be?
The Person of the Year who, for better or for worse, had the most influence on the news in 2024 is Donald Trump.
Okay, there it is. Donald Trump, 2024 Person of the Year.
That's the most unenthusiastic reveal I've ever seen. That's how I act when my sister gives me scented lotion for Christmas. Okay, there it is. Pomegranate Dream. Thank you. Now, obviously, Donald Trump is the Person of the Year. At this point, he's basically America's main character. So him winning is not surprising. What was surprising were the finalists.
These were the 5 finalists here in no particular order. Vice President Kamala Harris, the Princess of Wales, Elon Musk, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and President-elect Donald Trump.
Okay, look, no disrespect, but Kate Middleton was a finalist over Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the President of the United States. I mean, sure, Kate Middleton is the leader of Hamas, but still, it should be the sitting president as a finalist, but I guess once again, time has not been kind to Joe Biden. But also, why did they put Kamala Harris on the list? I know they're trying to pay her some respect, but all they did was just make her lose to Donald Trump again. Kamala, we just entered you in a golf tournament at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, guess you lost again. Longest tie contest. Oh, lost again. Anyway, Donald Trump was happy to win, and he accepted his award with a speech at the New York Stock Exchange. Although because he's the people's president, he made sure to highlight the very real stories of real Americans who are really suffering for real.
I tell the story about a woman an old woman, no money, went to a grocery store, had 3 apples. She put them down on the counter, and she looked, and she saw the price, and she said, "Would you excuse me?" And she walked one of the apples back to the refrigerator and came back to pay for the 2 apples. And she left with 2 apples, and the woman at the counter said that was so sad.
Yeah. You know, never in America should an old woman be forced to return an apple to the refrigerator at the grocery store, where they always keep the apples. Now, that poor old woman can't afford her 3-apple lunch. She could only buy 2 apples, and if she's anything like the old women I see at my grocery store, and her carton of cigarettes and scratch-off tickets. But, by the way, that old woman's name? Granny Smith. Really makes you think. Really makes you think. Seriously. Seriously, that was the worst story I've ever heard. That's like when my daughter is refusing to go to bed and she asks me to make up a story. Oh, yeah, once there was an old woman. She tried to buy 3 apples, then she ended up buying 2. Okay, sweetie, Dada has to go watch Shogun. Good night. Let's move on to another story that's been gathering steam for a few days, and the big question that's on everybody's mind.
What is going on in New Jersey?
Yeah, beats me. I don't know. Beats me, buddy. But what's actually going on is pretty bizarre.
People in New Jersey are concerned and demanding information after a wave of mysterious drone sightings.
Since last month, dozens of drones mysteriously hovering in the skies at night.
A New Jersey legislator posting on X that the drones appear much larger than typical hobby drones, in some cases up to 6 feet. They often fly with their lights off, making them harder to detect.
That's right. UFOs over New Jersey, or as they call them in New Jersey, unidentified objects. Oh! Mysterious drones in the sky are scary, and they raise a lot of questions, like, could they shoot me? You know? And after the year this has been, could they please shoot me? And now the people of New Jersey are pointing their phones at the sky.
That is not an airplane.
It looks like a spaceship.
Not a plane. That is a drone in the airspace.
Definitely not planes. And there were too many of them. There's no way planes could fly that close together.
You can hear that one. That is definitely a plane.
Don't worry, guys. New Jersey's on the case. In this drone looks a lot like my finger. Now, there might be a simple explanation for all this, but this is America, and we pride ourselves on doing our own research. So, cue the X-Files.
What's going on in America? Why doesn't our government tell us what's going on in these skies?
The other night, there was, right here over Picatinny, there was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone.
One family claims they followed a drone in their car, and while it hovered above them, the clock in their car changed times. Then they say the clock went back to normal after they drove off.
You know, Americans aren't allowed to look up anymore. And this all sounds like the world's most boring Steven Spielberg movie. No, I wasn't abducted, but my clock was slightly off for 1 minute. People are so dramatic, but I'm sure the New Jersey cops can clear all this up.
New Jersey State Police and the state's Office of Homeland Security say that the state has no information about who is behind the drones and why they're flying them.
Authorities in Toms River, New Jersey, launching their own drone offensive for a closer look.
I think I know what's going on here. We spotted a drone in the sky, so we're going to launch a drone to find out what. Holy shit, now there's 2 drones up there. We should put another drone. Holy shit, there's 3 drones up there. But you know what? Forget the local police. If we want answers, we should ask New Jersey's elected officials. They were elected for a reason, and they can provide us with sane, informed explanation.
New Jersey Representative Jeff Van Drew on cable news claiming he's been privy to top secret information about the drones.
From very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America.
Look, I know some of you are like, hey, can you stop making fun of New Jersey? You elected this guy. No. Holy shit, there's an Iranian mothership launching drones off the East Coast? Oh, you know what? Probably to gather intelligence on New Jersey's rich tapestry of shopping malls. This is huge, though. This is a national emergency, and a congressman said it, so it's definitely true.
The Pentagon Wednesday striking down claims that Iran is behind those drones.
There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
No mothership? So you're telling me is that Iran doesn't have Independence Day technology? Can I still blame Iran for all my other problems? Because that was going to be my defense on all those reckless driving tickets. But this is progress, actually, because clearly the federal government knows what these things are. And all we got to do is ask them.
Tony Gonzalez, the congressman, had this question for the assistant FBI director. Watch.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
What? Wait a minute. The federal government, despite the bazillion dollars it spends every year on surveillance, doesn't know what's going on here? I texted the word vacation once to my wife 3 weeks ago, and Google's still serving me ads for Airbnbs. But there's an invasion of sky robots right now above our heads, and the FBI's like, oh, no. You know, this tells me 2 things. One, we need to devote way more resources to our oppressive surveillance state. And 2, there's some really good deals on Airbnbs in Slovenia, so pack your bags. To find out the truth about these drones, we go live to New Jersey with Troy Iwata. Troy, please, tell me you learned something out in New Jersey.
Sure, I came to New Jersey and learned something. That's hilarious, Michael. Back to you.
Wait, no. No, Troy, we sent you out there to find out about the drones. This is important. Tell us about the drones.
Yes, well, I asked some questions, and I realized I shouldn't have been asking questions. So, let's just mind our own business and move on. Merry Christmas, Kosta.
No, I don't accept that. People are freaking out about the drones, and if you know something about it, you should tell us. You should tell, right, everybody? Tell us! Tell us! Tell us! Tell us!
Okay,
tell
fine!
us!
Fine! Shut up! It's Santa, okay? They're Santa Claus's drones.
Santa?
No, great. Now, look, he's pulling them away, and Christmas is canceled. You're not going to get your precious Wicked dolls anymore. God, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now, you nosy bitch.
That's impossible. Santa Claus has a magic sleigh. He comes down the chimney.
Santa's getting old, okay? You try shimmying down a chimney with hypertension and a hernia, all right? So now he uses drones to get gifts across the world and to spy on people's bedrooms to watch them cheat on their spouses.
Oh, so he can put him on his naughty list.
Sure. Yeah, it's not a power and control thing.
But I had no idea. Now I'm embarrassed. We were thinking it was the Iranians gathering information.
Oh, no. Although Santa is selling some of that information to Iranians, yes.
But why would Santa do that?
Santa has bills to pay, Michael. Okay, do you think he can cover his rent with the 2 Chips Ahoy cookies you put out for him? It's super generous. Like most of us, Santa sells a few state secrets to Iran. And they get along because they're both Muslim.
Whoa. Santa's not Muslim.
He has a long beard and he works on Christmas, Kosta. Or at least he did, but now that the secret's out, it's all canceled.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, Troy. I feel like I ruined Christmas.
No, you don't have to say that. Remember, Michael, this is New Jersey. Okay? No one deserves to have joy here. And that is the true meaning of Christmas.
You know what? You're right. Troy Awada, everybody.